Well, let's go to Kabul now for some analysis on what's happening in Afghanistan. We can speak to Obaidullah Baheer. He's a lecturer in transitional justice at the American University of Afghanistan. Obaidullah, good to speak with you again. So first, let's talk about the potential of the formation of this government of the Taliban. When are we expecting an announcement, and will it be the inclusive government that the Taliban's rhetoric has promised?
Thank you for having me on your show. The Taliban, as per their own announcement, said that they would be announcing their government in 2 days. I think that would mean today. With regards to the inclusivity of the government, the Taliban never officially or formally negotiated with other political groups within Afghanistan, but it is very likely that they will be including them in some sort of power sharing or giving them positions of power. Um, yeah, I think maybe that was a strategic decision because if they had sat down to negotiate, there'd be a lot of back and forth. They believed that since they were negotiating from a position of power, it was up to them and their generosity as to what they gave which faction in Afghanistan. So hopefully today we will hear about that government.
And what does that sort of power sharing, as you put it, look like? There's been reporting that Hamid Karzai won't get a place in any new government, but that Dr. Abdullah may get a place. Will it be federalized? Like, what is it going to look like? Will it be centrally based? Just give us an idea of what you think, from what you've heard from what the Taliban have said, this government could look like.
So none of us have really heard much from the Taliban, not even the political elite in Afghanistan. They don't know what system the Taliban really are going to implement. There are quite a few things on the table, though. There is this evolving idea of them creating a state council that functions underneath the Amir, which is going to be the head of the state. And the state council then can include leaders of different factions or important political elite. Beyond that, we're still not sure as to whether the Taliban really are open to the idea of keeping a parliament and a senate. They do oppose the idea of elections. However, it would do their international recognition cause huge favors if they create a Senate, which here is known as the House of Elders. It would create space for them to accommodate their own commanders and people that they feel they have to appease because of the contribution that they had to the fighting. So all of those are important questions as to whether the Taliban would accommodate them as to what they have in mind for governance. They obviously have been showing that they care for international recognition, so they're not going for an emirate, but it will be some new structure. A lot of people are saying that it might be something that looks something like Iran's system.
Mhm. And finally, then, Obaidullah, the airport. You mentioned international recognition. Getting that international airport reopened will be key in achieving that, and not least in getting aid into the country. What are your thoughts on the opening of the airport and when we could perhaps see that happening?
I think it would the sooner normal life resumes in Afghanistan, the better for the local population. The economy has been suffering for the past few weeks. We hear that the Qatari team is already in the airport, but there were issues with the facilities and the equipment there, and they're trying to replace them to have a functional airport soon. That being said, the Taliban are between a rock and a hard place with regards to letting people travel out of Afghanistan because, we've heard from the United States, a lot of the people that they took probably weren't the people that were under threat, and they would still have to keep pulling people out, which means the brain drain continues. I mean, we don't have 200 lecturers that we did earlier in Afghanistan. So for the society to function, it'd be very difficult. And I guess if the Taliban had established government much sooner, tried to gain the people's trust, then this would not have happened. It's a very difficult circumstances to run a government in or a functional society in, and let's wait and see as to what the days to come would bring.
I think that's the best thing we can do. Okay, Obaidullah Baheer, I do appreciate your analysis, sir. Thank you for being